Ever feel like wellness is just another job? Between the endless tasks and all the perfect routines we see, it could start to feel overwhelming. Today, I'm breaking down why self-care sometimes feels more like work and sharing simple ways to make it enjoyable and sustainable. Stick around to learn how you can reclaim your wellness and keep it stress-free. Alright, here's the thing. Wellness isn't about perfection. But have you ever felt like you're supposed to do all the things every single day? Let's talk about why that's a trap. I used to think that if I wasn't hitting every wellness goal perfectly, I wasn't doing it right. I'd scroll through social media, see all these people doing yoga, meditating, eating salads every day, and think, is that what I need to do too? But here's a reality check. No one has time for that. I found that aiming for 80% consistency instead of perfection takes so much pressure off. Like maybe some days I'll meditate for 10 minutes and feel great, and other days I'll just stretch before bed and that's enough. Once I realized that consistency is what really matters, not perfection, I actually started looking forward to my wellness routines. I call this my bare minimum strategy. It's just about making sure I'm moving forward without stressing myself out. The best part, I've found that doing something simple consistently actually leads to more progress than chasing perfect habits. So now that we're letting go of the need to be perfect, let's talk about what happens when life gets busy and even the basics feel tough to fit in. Let's be real, life is messy. There are going to be days when wellness just doesn't feel possible. So what can you do on those days to still feel like you're taking care of yourself? Here's where flexibility comes in. I've learned that wellness doesn't have to mean sticking to a rigid schedule. I keep a minimum wellness list for these type of crazy days. For me, it's something as simple as stretching for 5 minutes, drinking a big glass of water, or just getting some fresh air. I'll be honest, there are days that my schedule just blows up and I feel tempted to just skip it all altogether. But these tiny things remind me that wellness isn't about following a perfect routine. It's about taking care of myself and whatever I can manage at the moment. And let's talk self-compassion here. It's easy to feel guilty about not doing enough, but one thing that helped me is to remind myself that I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. Life happens, and being kind to yourself about it can make wellness feel a lot less like a chore and a lot more like something you actually enjoy. Once we've got that flexibility down, we need to make sure wellness doesn't become just another thing on that to-do list. So next, let's tackle the issue of toxic productivity. Have you ever found yourself checking off your wellness tasks like they're just items on a list? Let's dig into why that can actually work against you. I used to treat my wellness routines just like another part of my productivity system. You know, wake up, meditate, journal, workout, check. But eventually it started feeling like a chore and I lost the enjoyment of it. That's when I realized I was falling into the toxic productivity trap, where everything, including self-care, had to be productive. So I decided to shake things up. Instead of following a strict routine, I started asking myself, what do I actually feel like doing today? Sometimes that's going for a walk. Other days, it's just reading a book for a while. Wellness doesn't have to be a rigid checklist. It should be about finding things that bring you genuine joy and relaxation. I found that by letting go of the checklist mentality, I actually look forward to my wellness time. It became less about doing and more about being. So now that we're steering clear of toxic productivity, let's look at what to do when you're really struggling to stick to any routine at all. Those days when motivation is just nowhere to be found. You know those days when you just don't feel like doing anything? Here's a trick that saved me more times than I can count. On days when my motivation's totally shot, I use a technique called behavioral activation. It's basically doing the smallest possible thing to get moving. Sometimes that means taking 3 deep breaths or just stretching for a minute. These micro actions can help you feel like you're still taking care of yourself even if you don't have the energy for a full routine. And honestly, it's been a game changer. Some days I just set a timer for 5 minutes, and if that's all I can do, that's all I will do. The idea is to get yourself moving, and even if it's just a tiny bit. And here's where self-compassion is the key again. Just because you're not doing a lot doesn't mean you're not doing enough. I always remind myself that even smaller steps are better than no steps. It's not about how much you do, it's about keeping the momentum going, even on the toughest days. We have covered a lot of ground: letting go of perfection, embracing flexibility, avoiding toxic productivity, and staying on track even when motivation is low. Let's wrap it up with a thought that kind of ties everything together. Here's what I learned. Wellness isn't about following someone else's checklist. It's about finding what works for you and letting go of everything that doesn't. So I challenge you this week, pick one wellness habit and find a way to make it more enjoyable or flexible. Leave a comment below about how you plan to adjust, and I would love to hear it. Remember, self-care is supposed to help you feel better, not add more stress. Here's to reclaiming wellness your way. Thank you so much for watching. May you be well, and I'll see you in the next video.